Let's start with just one simple question. Can either of you fly?
We're counting down our top 10 picks for the box office fails of 2022 today on ConSip.
What is that? It's so cute. I want to merchandise it. Ow!
The movies in this list, regardless of how well they were made, received large theatrical releases in 2022 but failed to turn a profit at the box office. Remember that the budgetary estimates are approximate and that several of these films were still playing in theaters at the time of publishing. As a result, we won't be including Avatar: The Way of Water because, like its predecessors, the story for that film probably won't be finished until far into the following year. Also, we won't be taking movies into consideration that made a big splash on streaming sites. Which box office dud do you wish would find a new audience? Comment below and let us know. Number 10. Morbius. Sony struck it lucky with the first two Venom films, but if Morbius is any indicator,
I'm not sure how I got here. Has to do with Spider-Man, I think. I'm still figuring this place out, but I think a bunch of guys like us should team up. Could do some good.
Intriguing.
they should give up on creating a Spider-Man universe. Morbius was about as nasty as one might anticipate after numerous delays and reshoots, and even the most ardent Marvel fan could smell a turkey. In the United States, the movie brought in $73 million between April 1st and Memorial Day weekend. Jared Leto participated in Sony's Morbin Time. Therefore, it's a shame that they couldn't monetize memes. Morbius was re-released in 1,000 theaters by Sony in an attempt to profit from this situation, giving it yet another chance to utterly fail. Morbius was not the most expensive Marvel film ever made, earning $167.5 million worldwide against a $75 to $83 million budget. But it is nonetheless one of the comic brand's lowest grossing films ever.
Ibuprofen. It'll heal up just fine.
Number 9. The Northman.
I will avenge you, father! I will save you, mother! I will kill you, Fiona! I will avenge you, father! I will save you, mother! I will kill you, Fiona!
From The Witch to The Lighthouse, one of the most ambitious filmmakers working now is Robert Eggers. He was granted a budget of $65 million for The Northman, which increased to $70 to $90 million. That is more money than his last two films combined to make. Despite being Eggers' most stunning and badass film to date, The Northman was always a risk, even though the movie only made $69.6 million.
This is not the work of my God. This is trollish sorcery.
Its plot happily didn't finish there. Strong DVD and Blu-ray sales demonstrated that physical media is still alive and well, in addition to becoming a popular rental option on websites like Google Play, iTunes, and Vudu. Focus Features Kiskahiggs proclaimed the movie a financial success in August, demonstrating that box office success isn't always everything.
Now remember, for whom you shed your last teardrop, remember the oath to right the wrong. Remember the Raven King. Remember.
Number 8. The 355. Following the failure of Dark Phoenix, Jessica Chastain and director Simon Kinberg once again collaborated on this spy thriller, which Universal bought out of Cannes for $20 million.
All of a sudden, I run 35 miles an hour straight into a cow. Nearly killed me.
What about the cow?
My first official agency kill.
The 355's under $30 million gross was due to three factors, despite Kinberg's all-star female-led cast. One is that it debuted during the Omicron surge, increasing the COVID risks. Two is that audiences willing to take those risks were more likely to watch Spider-Man, No Way Home or Sing 2, which were still doing quite well. 3 is that the reviews weren't great, with critics feeling the cast had been wasted on a generic plot and pointless action. And 4 is, perhaps most importantly, that the reviews weren't great. It's estimated that the movie cost between $40 million and $75 million to produce, but cost Universal over $90 million.
Remember that story that they told us about in training? Washington's female spy. During the Revolution, Agent 355 is what they called her.
Because they didn't know her name.
Someone knew her name. They just didn't want the world to know it.
Number 7. Black Adam.
We're here to negotiate the terms of your peaceful surrender.
I'm not peaceful. Nor do I surrender.
Although Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is one of Hollywood's top hype men, it no longer appears as though Black Adam's box office success was solely due to hype.
Heroes don't kill people.
Well, I do.
Black Adam has made just under $400 million in box office revenue after 2 months in theaters, which is not a bad showing, but could be given the film's alleged low budget. The production budget reportedly increased from $190 to $260 million as a result of reshoots. Since then, there have been varying accounts of the movie's break-even point, with media outlet Puck even speculating that the studio may have tampered with some of its publicly available data. In any case, it didn't feel like the performance was adequate to bring the character into DC's near future.
We should talk.
Number 6. Awards season bait. Although it's no secret that popular opinion of the Oscars has declined recently, we're just now starting to see that sentiment actually come through at the box office.
Do me a favor. Try to be optimistic.
This fall saw a number of high-profile nominees for Oscars fail. For instance, Amsterdam's anticipated $97 million loss was probably influenced by unfavorable reviews. The Topicals had one of the lowest debuts ever for a movie playing in nearly 2,000 theaters, with only $2.2 million, so even the critical darlings weren't protected.
But if someone could speak freely about the payouts, that would be hugely helpful.
What payouts, John?
Even one of the most renowned filmmakers of all time, Steven Spielberg, failed to engage spectators with his semi-autobiographical The Fabelmans. Damien Chazelle's Babylon, whose box office receipts are about as non-existent as its eponymous city, finally brought the year to a close.
You'll be a shanda for your loved ones, an exile in the desert.
People my whole life. But I made it on my terms, not theirs.
Number 5. The King's Daughter. None of the box office dailies on this list is as bizarre as the one surrounding the critically panned King's Daughter.
Do you have a genuine smile? Hidden somewhere? No regrets, mademoiselle. That statue is of a woman who has caused many to lose their balance.
Little information followed. It was assumed that the special effects still need improvement. Distribution rights changed hands multiple times over a 4-year period until being released by Gravitas Investments in January 2022. The King's Daughter opened in over 2,000 cinemas, similar to awards season bait.
What are you doing?
Hey!
No one is allowed in here.
What is that?
I asked the questions, not you. Now answer me.
But this time it did much worse, failing to break even $800,000.
I can scarcely believe I was so blind as not to see this moment coming.
Number 4. Devotion.
You the only person I ever met belonged in the sky. Just remember you belong down here with us too, okay?
To all intents and purposes, Devotion is similarly an autumn release with the tagline Aspirations, and with good reason, but the reason for its financial failure is more intriguing. For starters, by appealing to an underserved elder audience, this Korean War action thriller may have found a place for itself amid the domestic Thanksgiving lineup.
Say again?
Glenn Powell, one of the movie's main actors, also starred in the hugely popular Top Gun: Maverick, a film about fighter pilots, in 2022. However, Devotion failed to capitalize on the success of the first movie, earning only $20.2 million against a $90 million production budget. What are you expecting of me? Man, I'm just reballing. If it's any consolation, The excellent reviews should indicate that the film will have staying power on the domestic market and will.
Can't tell you how many times people have told me to give up, quit, die even.
Number 3, Lightyear. While Lightyear is to Toy Story, Solo is to Star Wars, both movies provide origin stories for legendary characters that are taken over by new performers. Both times, the audiences were undecided.
To infinity.
Are you trying to get me to pull your finger?
Don't fall for it. No, not like that. It was... sorry, it's a thing your grandma and I used to do.
Yeah.
Many people shrugged off the mixed reviews and decided to stream the movie afterwards. Lightyear became one of Pixar's lowest-grossing wide releases after making $226.4 million on a $200 million budget due to this disinterest.
We can talk about your feelings. I am an excellent listener.
No, look. I've had a very long day. It did not go as planned.
The mission was unsuccessful?
Affirmative.
Although fans don't seem to have been very interested in witnessing a more realistic portrayal of Buzz Lightyear, the movie deserves respect for taking various risks with an established franchise. A few weeks later, Minions: The Rise of Gru demonstrated that, at least if money is involved, it's sometimes preferable to simply give audiences what they anticipate.
That was utterly terrifying, and I regret having joined you.
Number 2, Moonfall.
Jimmy, hold my hand.
Come on, let's go! Let's go!
Roland Emmerich produced this independent film 26 years after Independence Day. We emphasize independent with the sharpest quotation marks because Emmerich collaborated with a number of financiers, and the budget was apparently between $138 million and $146 million, notwithstanding the fact that it had independent financing. On the domestic market, Moonfall debuted with less than $10 million and only went downhill from there. Its miserable gross of $67.3 million was the result of a number of issues, such as waning interest in disaster films, an increase in COVID cases, and negative reviews that criticized the convoluted plot even by Emmerich standards. Even though Moonfall is one of the most fascinating box office flops ever, it is also one of the biggest.
Oh no, hold on, because my freaking brain's just exploded.
In all honesty, we'd rather to watch a documentary about the making of this than the actual film.
No one look at me. I might cry.
Here are a few deserving or perhaps unlucky mentions before we reveal our one pick. The Burger King: The Awful Weight of Enormous Talent.
I brought you a burger.
Oh, no thanks. I'm trying to eat less meat.
Oh my God.
I'm going to close out the file, and, your faces are making me sad. So if you could go.
Another future Nicolas Cage cult favorite. Would appear that viewers were more interested in eating in with this movie when it came to streaming.
I need you to be a star. Now you get the next one, baby, and we're back.
Not that we went anywhere.
Not that we went anywhere.
Billy Eichner's historic rom-com received great reviews but little attention.
We are short $5 million. We cannot afford to push our opening again. People will think we're in trouble. Maybe this whole place could fall apart.
Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore marked the end of the Wizarding World series' financial success.
Can I ask what would possess you to make such a thing?
Love. Arrogance. Naivety. Pick your poison.
The sequel to Mad Max Fury Road, which isn't as well known, is called 3,000 Years of Longing by George Miller.
To wish we'd never met.
No, don't say that!
Number 1, Strange World. Devotion wasn't the only movie to suffer greatly from the American Thanksgiving market. The Biggest Loser and Strange World both surely did as well.
You offended? I can't tell.
On the one hand, Strange World is historic since it features the first openly LGBTQ lead character from Walt Disney Animation Studios. Yet regrettably, the studio had to be aware that some audiences wouldn't find that appealing. Nonetheless, the movie's very middling reviews and lackluster marketing strategy had to be the main causes of its failure.
Any idea all of this was down here?
Not at all.
We are definitely off the map now.
Simply put, audiences were unsure of what to expect with this one, and it might be hazardous these days to take a bet on a novel idea. Disney gambled on Strange World, and it is estimated that it cost them up to $147 million.
To be our legacy. Father and son.
You want to talk about legacy? I'm about to destroy mine. For my son. Something you could never do.
Oh, right. Because I'm a horrible father.
How did you find the video? Check out these additional ConSip videos, and be sure to subscribe and click the bell to get notified when we upload new content.